Alrighty guys, welcome to math. We're starting our new unit today. We're going to be working on data and statistics. Go ahead and open your textbooks to page 367. Alright, page 367 is just a quick check to see what you already know. This should be a review from what we've done in other units as well as what you learned about data collection from last year. So the first couple questions ask you to read and use a bar graph. And then the second couple of questions ask you to find the missing numbers and write a description for the pattern, such as add 2, subtract 8, multiply 15, things like that. Okay, very similar to what we did in the fractions unit. So I'm going to ask Mr. Will to pause this video for about 3.5 minutes, let you guys quickly fill this out, and then go ahead and press play once most of the class is done. Alright, welcome back. You must be done. So let's go over the answers. Number 1, which fruit received the most votes? We can look over here and we just have to look for the tallest. And the tallest one is apple. So apple received the most votes. They have 7 votes, we can see, in between the 6 and the 8. Which fruit received 5 votes? Well, we go over here to the number of votes. And we see it's counting by 2s, so we know 5 is going to be in between the 4 and the 6. So we just go over. Oh, look, banana has 5 votes. And then the last question with this bar graph is, there were blank votes in all. And so what that means is we have to add up all the votes. So apple had 7, orange had 4, banana had 5, and grapes had 6, so we have to add those up. So 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 plus 5 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. So there were 22 votes in all. Okay. Then looking down here, extending the patterns, finding the missing numbers. This one's quite easy. We've done this many times. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The description, add 5. Add 5 or plus 5. Number 5, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. The description is subtract 10 or minus 10. Number 6, we have 12, 18, 24, 30. We're counting by 6 now. 36, 42, 48. The description is plus 6 or add 6. Number 7, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450. The description again, add 50 or plus 50. And then the last one, we have 200, 180, 160, 140, 120, 180. The description is subtract 20 or minus 20. Okay? So this was for you just to show what you know, what you already did. And then we're going to go ahead and move on. You're going to skip to page 369. 369. And I'm going to turn on my little marker dude. And so once we're done with this page, we're going to stop the video. And then you guys are going to go ahead and you're going to play the second video. So we have just a little bit more time left in this video. And then Mr. Will have to transfer over to the second video. Okay? So let's look. We have students have measured different amounts of water into beakers for an experiment. The amount of water in each beaker is listed below. We have a bunch of 1/4 cups, some 1/2 cups, some 3/4 cups, and so on and so on. So we have lots of different cups. If the total amount of water stayed the same, what would be the average amount of water in a beaker? Well, we know that to find the average, we have to add all the numbers and then divide by the number of numbers. So we have to add 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/2 plus 3/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 3/4 plus 1/4 plus 3/4. And then we divide by the total number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So once we get the total number, once we added them all, we have to divide by 12. Well, look here, we have not the same common denominators. We have some halves and we have some fourths, and so it would take us quite a while to add them up. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to create a line plot so that way we can add them easier. So first we're going to count the number. We're going to count the number of cups for each amount, okay? And then we're going to draw an X for the number of times it's recorded. So here they started for us. We're going to just extend this graph. So we have 1/4. Let's count how many 1/4s we have. 1, 2, 3. Oops, that's not a 1/4, is it? Haha, just kidding. Let me see, how do I erase it? That's not working. All right, we'll just pretend. We'll do this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 1/4, so I'm going to record a 7 here. 7. Then how many 1/2s do I have? I have 1, that's 3/4. 2, that's 3/4, 3/4. So I have 2, so I'm going to write a 2 here. Then how many 3/4 do I have? Well, I can see quite easily 1, 2, 3. So I can write 3 here. All right. So now we're going to draw an X for the number of times. So we need 7 X's above 1/4. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just have to add 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then how many 1/2 X's do we need to make? 2, yes. So we have 1, 2. All right, and you guys should be following along and doing this in your textbooks. And then 3/4. We have 1 done for us. How many more do we need to add? That's right, we need to add 2 more. Okay. So all of you should have line plots that now look like this, where we have 7, we have 2, and we have 3. And these numbers come from here, and these numbers come from here. So we just simply are counting. At this point, we haven't done any math. Okay. And then watch what happens. Step 2, we're going to find the amount of water in all of the beakers that contain 1/4 cups of water. So how many beakers have 1/4 cup? Well, we can count the X's, or we can go back over to here where we wrote 7. So there are 7 beakers with the 1/4 cup of water. So there are 7/4, or 7 over 4. Because what this is 7 times 1/4 is what we've just done. And then we put it over 1, and we have 7/4. Well, that's an improper fraction, so we have to simplify it. So 4 goes into 7 one time, and what's left over? 3. So we have 3/4. That doesn't really look like a 3, guys. Sorry, I'm drawing with a mouse. Does that look better? There we go. So 1 and 3/4. So that's how much water we have here. So this is 1 and 3/4. Okay. Then we look at the 1/2. And how many beakers have 1/2? There's 2. We can see there's 2 X's. We can see there's a 2 here. We can go back up and count here. There's 2 1/2s. So there are 2 halves. And 2 halves is just 2 over 2 And what does that equal? That equals 1 because 2 goes into 2 one time. Okay. Then step 4, the total amount of water in all the beakers that contained 3/4. They did that for us. They already counted that there is 3. So we put 3 over 1. 3 times 3 is 9. And 1 times 4 is 4. Okay, so good thing we did so awesome on our fractions units. So we have 9 over 4. So 4 goes into 9 2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8. And then what's left over? 1 over 4. All right, so we've done all of this. So now what we do is we find the total amount of water, and rather than adding up each one of these individually, which would take a really long time, we instead just add these. We add the 1 and 3/4, the 1, and the 2 and 1/4. So we add all these together and divide by 12. So 1 and 3/4 plus 1 plus 2 and 1/4. Okay. Well, we can go ahead and do 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, and then we have 1/4 plus 3/4, and that's going to give us 1 whole. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay. So when we add them all up, we get 5. Then what we do, and this is the fun thing, remember when we learned all the different ways to write multiplication and division, and for multiplication we said that this means multiply, and we said this means multiply, and we said this means multiply. Those are parentheses in case you can't tell. And then for division we said that this means divide and this means divide, right? And we also said this means divide. A fraction is just division. Remember I told you that? Well, here we have to do 5 divided by 12. Can we divide 5 into 12 pieces? Not really, unless we turn it into a fraction and we put 5 divided by the fraction line 12. So the 5 becomes the numerator and the 12 becomes the denominator. Small number on top, big number on the bottom. And so that's our answer. We cannot simplify it any. So 5 divided by 12 is 5/12. So the average amount of water in the beaker is 5 over 12. Okay. And so that is what we're going to be spending today doing. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and then Mr. Will is going to start the next video once you guys have filled in your books to make it look like this. All right, so give me about 2 seconds, or give Mr. Will about 2 seconds, and then we'll continue our lesson.